Hey guys, this is Courtney, and today I wanted to give an announcement that I am going to be rebranding my channel name and my whole brand, website, all of that to Cosmic Clarity Astrology. So make sure that you guys go ahead and write that down, save that information in case you ever do search for my channel and can't find it no longer under this name. So today's video, we're going to be talking about the Jupiter Uranus conjunction, and that's happening on April 20th in the sign of Taurus at 21 degrees. This is a rare transit that happens around roughly every 14 years, and it is one of the most significant events that's happening in 2024 that astrologers are looking forward to. This is really exciting because both Jupiter and Uranus can have positive energies. Jupiter especially. Uranus is a little bit of a wild card. So when they come together, these slow planets that really do affect kind of the way our society functions, when they finally come together and unite, they almost have a little rendezvous and give us the potential to have some kind of breakthrough or timeline jump essentially in this lifetime. So I see this almost as like a quantum leap, a breakthrough, a time of hope and prosperity and progress and reinvention or simply invention into something new. And so this is a really exciting time. And we're going to go over what this is going to look like for all of the rising signs. What I'm getting or what I'm going to be predicting for you guys is what you're going to be blessed with or what the breakthrough is going to be for you happening in April. It's very likely that we're already starting to kind of feel some of these energies shifting and these storylines lining up so that throughout the month of April, this energy becomes more obvious, more potent. And you might see something significant happen in the month of April, especially if you have any angles, most likely the angular houses. So like the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th house cusps around 21 degrees. Or if you have especially Taurus 21 degrees, which is where this is happening, or the fixed signs, which is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, you're going to feel this really significantly. And then you'll also still feel it if you have that also. Planets also around 21 degrees of earth or water signs. So those are who it's going to be really impacting the most. If it's not hitting anything in your chart at all, then maybe you won't really get a huge jolt or a huge breakthrough. Maybe you're doing just fine, or maybe it's just not your time for that. And then others are going to notice a really significant shift. But as a society, as a whole, we can start to see things progress, but it's usually something that we can most clearly see retroactively. So once we've kind of passed this point in time, years later, we can look back and see, oh, that is a turning point for us. That was marking this time in history, or there was some sort of advancement that was heralding a new chapter into our lives as a collective or even in our personal lives. So it's a really, really exciting time. Jupiter is the great benefic. It's the bringer of blessings and children and abundance, and it's a very social planet as well. So it has sorry, I just saw my cat walk outside. So it has a lot of potential to bring in new relationships and connections and opportunities. And then Uranus is a planet of innovation, of progress, a little bit of rebellion as well, change, surprise, technology. And both of them tend to bring a lot of clarity, a lot of wisdom, and the potential for great healing. So I'm excited to see how this can impact us on a more personal scale. But before we do that or talk about each sign, we're going to jump into first discussing what this has looked like in the past, and then maybe get like a really quick overview of what this could look like for the collective. So the last time Jupiter and Uranus came together was in January 2001, really early in January. So it's really something that you would have felt in December and the first week of January. So these planets came together in the sign of Pisces. And during this period of time, we had SpaceX become the first privately owned company to launch, orbit, and recover a spacecraft. So this is extremely Uranian, and obviously Jupiter is also about things progressing and moving forward, more so from a place of personal growth, societal growth, internal expansion as well as spiritual expansion. But and also Jupiter has a very strong link with things that are foreign. So bringing various elements together, and Uranus also has this type of quality where we are kind of bridging different types of maybe technologies or fields and kind of melding them together and creating something new and unique. And so we can see a lot of unique advancements through the coming together of these two planets. So we could see here that obviously this had a lot to deal with things progressing in terms of leaving this world, which I love that because it feels very kind of Aquarian and Pisces in nature, that there's a technological advancement that quite literally has us leave Earth, which I think is super cool. Also during this Jupiter Uranus conjunction in 2011, we had Obama repeal a policy that banned people who are gay from openly saying they were gay or joining the military under that pretense or something of that nature. So I'm probably not wording that correctly, but I think you guys know what I'm saying. So obviously this is very much a Piscean theme and also Aquarius. We can really see the blend of the two because Uranus is there, but we can really see how people who were previously considered underdogs are getting some kind of breakthrough. And that's common with Jupiter and Uranus. We can see reversals of roles and fortunes. So people, especially who were winning and who had the upper hand, but who were not good or it was outdated or it was wrong, we can see those things start to have a little bit of a shift happen with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And I think that's really even more emphasized because Pluto being in the sign of Aquarius, the sign of the people, we are really in an age or an era where the emphasis is on the collective and the individual, the layperson, and not the governmental forces. And so it's a time of empowering each person and fighting for our own unique rights. And so we can start to see how maybe some power can shift into the hands of the people, especially healers, because Jupiter and Uranus together are both very spiritual planets. And so not only are we more adept at healing things that we might be stuck in terms of cyclical patterns and things that have been just feeling like we cannot get out of them, Uranus and Jupiter together can really, again, jump this timeline. It can get us out of some cycle of suffering. It can help us see things from a higher perspective, give us solutions to existing problems. It can give us this higher level awareness that our human brain doesn't have access to on an ordinary level or on an ordinary day. So it's really an opportunity for us to open up to extra senses. We might feel quite literally more sensitive during this time, and the information that comes to us should really be noted because it is significant for the path forward. The previous time that Jupiter and Uranus came together in the same sign as Taurus was in May of 1941, and during this period of time was kind of in the middle of World War II. Nazi Germany was at its height. There was a lot going on in terms of violence and oppression. And during this period of time, May in particular, the British, I don't know what you would call them, government, elected Winston Churchill. And he became the person who a few years later finally led to the demise of the war and of the Axis powers and Nazi Germany in 1945. So basically, the person who helped reverse the roles of power at that period of time, who helped end the war that was obviously horrible, and I think you can again see here how like the good wins. So it's like the evil was winning at that time, but when Winston was elected, when things basically set into motion for there to be a reversal of power, was the same time Jupiter and Uranus came together. So I think that's very fascinating how these things happen. And so I think that also really goes to show that whatever happens this month is not necessarily going to be an immediate resolution of something. We can feel like we have a breakthrough. We can have this really important piece click into place. But again, we often won't see how that is so significant until we look back on this period of time retroactively and we can see, okay, yeah, that was the moment in time where I made this different choice or I had this new perspective that once I followed that path led me to a completely different reality. That timeline jump, that reversal of roles, that reversal of fortune, and enhanced my life to a really significant degree, or made a really noticeable difference in my life where a chapter was almost turned, but in a positive way, a resolution of something in a positive way. So it's really important right now not to put too much pressure on this period of time of seeing these amazing blessings and results, because those could take time to unfold, but those really important characters or pieces of the puzzle will click in together during this period of time when the Jupiter and Uranus come together in our chart. One other thing I think is important to note is that sometimes we also can't fully understand how significant this is for ourselves, but even more so from other people looking at our own lives. So we might, let me give you an example. So also when Jupiter and Uranus came together in Taurus, during this period of time in May 1941, the world's first programmable automatic computer was invented, which obviously sets the stage for this huge technological boom that we have had later, even more so now with Pluto and Aquarius. I think that's something that we can really get a sense of in this period of time. In April, there's probably going to be some technological advancements, maybe with AI or something else, where that sets the precedent for something much bigger later down the line. But there's going to be people who don't get it when it first comes out. Like when that computer first arrived, maybe there are people who didn't understand the purpose. This was 1941. This is a long time ago. So I don't know what level of technology people were aware of at that time, or what they thought it would be used for, if they even knew it existed. So there's a lot that I feel like could be shifting for us, even as a collective, but in our personal lives as well, where things that we have this guided intuition to do or to follow, it's so outside the box, it's so progressive, it's so ahead of its time that it's more likely to not be well received or to be misunderstood or even just kind of downplayed before it reaches its full pinnacle of success. And then people years from now will see how significant that thing really was. And I think that we can see that also with the example of Winston Churchill. He was elected during that period of time, or he was, moved into office or voted for at that period of time when that conjunction took place. But I don't know if anyone really knew that he was going to be kind of that big turning point in the war, for example, or that really significant player in the ending of a massive cycle of despair and destruction. So we can see how these things set into place now, but aren't always fully understood. So just really keep that in mind. So during these Jupiter-Uranus conjunctions, we can typically expect to have some kind of idea come through for us that we can bring to fruition. And that means that, again, the idea doesn't mean that the whole thing is completed. The results are not always here right away, although sometimes they will be. If you've been having an existing problem, you can come up with really powerful solutions to that problem, and you can have, again, some kind of turning point, especially in concerns with Taurus themed topics. So we're going to talk about that for each sign, because it's going to depend on what house you have Taurus in, the kind of problems or breakthrough or gift or blessing you could have as a result of these downloads or changes that you make in your life. But also, just talking about Taurus themes in general, this is very much related to the material world. This is related to our financial security, the kind of food that we eat, the cattle that we have on this earth, the nature itself, our clothes, our sense of security, our sense of stability, our sense of independence as well, being able to truly be autonomous in every sense of the word, our sense of worth and value and the feeling of what we bring to the table, and our own kind of inner resolution to be consistent or work hard or see things through and have positive results with things. So all of those are very Taurus topics. And so we can see that these this Jupiter Uranus conjunction can have some kind of breakthrough or shift concerning the material world or concerning those things that I just mentioned. One of the things that I think is really important with something like this is that we need to be aware of how impulsive an energy like this can be. So there are lots of benefits to this. This is a time of blessings, of breakthrough, of radical shifts that can really enhance our lives. But also sometimes what happens with the exuberance of Jupiter and the progressive, rebellious nature of Uranus, when they come together, they can sometimes not really see how they have maybe blind faith and optimism in the value of change and revolution, because that can be helpful, yes, of course, but also there can be an element of throwing everything out, the baby out with the bathwater, when there are things that are actually functioning and maybe just need revision, when there's wisdom from the past that we need to carry forward, but instead they're just rooting for what is new and progressive. So we really need to keep our heads kind of balanced and look at things through an unbiased perspective while still having faith and optimism. So can we look at the facts? Can we look at the data while still believing that there is a higher possibility and potential, but not getting so blinded by our faith that we refuse to acknowledge, real issues, or refuse to look at the entire equation and be truthful and honest with ourselves and others. Another aspect of this is that we can sometimes get a little bit overzealous and overcommit ourselves. We can scatter ourselves. We can not really have a necessary focus on this energy, which is interesting because it is in Taurus, which is a fixed earth sign, which tends to be very focused, very kind of committed to a particular vision or habit or way of being, so much so that they can almost have trouble, being too stagnant, or not stagnant necessarily, but like unwilling to change when it's required, unwilling to adapt. So this energy helps shake that up. It helps us adapt. But also, I think that this balance could be helpful because it could help maybe kind of focus these two planets, but that is a little bit of a risk where we might kind of scatter our focus, energy, attention, our money, our resources, and we could come to later regret that. So just being aware that change comes at a cost. Saying yes to something means saying no to something. Looking at the entire picture of things and being willing to listen to yourself with logic. So I think that's super, super important. I think this also has a very creative and imaginative energy, which is something I really love because it helps us tap into our higher mind, our higher consciousness, our higher self, so that we can reinvent or reset or renew something in our life. So this could look like revamping something old or starting something new, but that still reinvigorates us. So there's this energy of something coming back to life, especially in the house that this conjunction is happening in for you. So I think that's all I want to say about the general energy of this conjunction. Let's go ahead and jump into what this is going to look like for all the rising signs. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to comment and like this video, share with your friends so that we can get my channel out there. And I appreciate you guys so much. All right, up next we have Leo rising and sun. So for you guys, it's Jupiter and Uranus conjunction that's happening on the 20th. Is going to be in your 10th house of career. And this is so exciting. I did just pull a 10 of cups. So this feels really, really significant for you guys with the 10 of cups coming through, that whatever is going to be this kind of big breakthrough for you. And if you haven't watched the overview video, I highly recommend watching that. But this big breakthrough energy is going to likely come through the area of career, although the 10 of cups, and I've often seen this associated with 10th house as well, can have some significant movements in terms of family or getting married or having a kid, like having something really substantial happen within your reputation in the world. And so you are like adding to your how people know you, like what they know about you publicly. So some of you guys could be having something happen within that regard. So either career or something major happening within you and your family and your relationship or having children, that type of thing. 10 of cups is just such great happiness. So whatever is coming for you is going to feel extremely emotionally fulfilling. And I feel like this is something that you guys have probably been waiting for a long time. Taurus midheaven, you might feel like these big milestones in your life unfold for you a little bit slower than other people. You might feel like every step has to be done right and things just take their time. And so with this Jupiter Uranus conjunction, you're really able to finally feel like you're jumping a timeline, you're moving a lot faster, or you're having something that's been kind of waiting in the sidelines finally manifest into your life. And this is one of the happiest cards in all of the decks, so it's really exciting. I also pulled the Hierophant card. This is a card of tradition, and this is also making me think of marriage. So it's very possible that some of you guys could be getting married or could be going into something like legally. So like, let's say you decide that you want to start a business and it makes you super happy, and it's like you're doing all the legal things, you're following all of the steps, like I was saying earlier, to make that happen. So it's something becoming finalized, becoming legalized. You could be buying a house, you could be just like a really major milestone, buying a house, getting married, having a kid, starting a business, having a business breakthrough, something that requires steps and like legal documentation or a certain path to be followed in order for this to come to life. I see you guys actually doing that, and you might even consider yourself, I'm almost getting the World card, like you reaching some level of almost like a mastery or being seen through new eyes. Like, I've accomplished this and now people are seeing me differently. And that's, or I see myself differently as a result of this. The Hierophant has that energy where it's like, it's leading the group. It's seen as a source of information or wisdom about something because it's gone through something. So I have the Emperor and the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So if you guys have been in times of lack, I see you getting a hold of your finances, maybe for the first time in your life, or for, in just a really big way. With the Five of Pentacles in reverse, the Emperor upright, I feel like you guys are not only making more money, but you're learning how to really manage it, like capture it, hold on to it. The Emperor is somebody who has control over things. And with the Five of Pentacles in reverse, it's like you're finally getting out of a lack mentality and feeling like you know what to do with money, where to invest it, where to put it. And this is something that you guys have been working through because you guys have had a really strong emphasis on your second house of finances. So this has been already kind of really, again, emphasized for you. So I feel like this is going to just show that there's a completion of something, an up-leveling of something really major. I also pulled the Hangman along with this. So this to me indicates that you've changed your perspective about money. So maybe you felt like you had to work super hard and you weren't, like your efforts weren't necessarily paying off, or they were paying off, but it was like you had to work hard for every single dollar that you earned. I'm seeing there's a mastery and a feeling of, again, achievement and control and success over money, to where you can now employ other people, or you can make more money than just when you're working. You're getting income from other facets of life, like passive income or residual income or dividends, like things like that that have returns on investments rather than you having to always show up and be there physically. I'm seeing there's this change of perspective on the way money is earned or managed for you to grow really exponentially, really substantially in terms of your finances. This is such a positive reading for you guys. Wow, I wish I was Leo rising. Any other cards for Leo on the gifts that's coming through for them with this Jupiter Uranus conjunction? We have big happy changes. Wow, if that's not the Ten of Cups, then I don't know what is. This is a time of real happiness, almost like euphoria, where something so good happens that it's like hard to believe it's true, and something feels like it's finally clicking into place after maybe quite a bit of suffering and feeling upset how things have been. And I think this makes a lot of sense because where this conjunction happening in your 10th house, being an angular house, being the most visible part of the chart, it's quite impactful, and it's also something very obvious and something very substantial that is really going to indicate a big leap rather than just something that feels exciting, but you know, remember that this is going to take some time to unfold. It might not all happen right away. I did pull the in-between card. So I feel like this could be talking about where you are right now. I think that many of you guys might feel like you are stuck in this plane in between two existences. Like, okay, this is kind of like where I want to go, but I'm also not quite there yet, or I don't know who I am yet. It's like, it feels like almost either confusing, or you're have many options, or straddling between two realities. It seems like you guys don't have a really strong foundation, a strong hold on where you're going, what it is you're doing, or what you want. It's going to look different for everybody, but there's a sense of being in this in between, this, you know, what's the word? Conjecture? No. Regardless, something where you're straddling these two realities. And I'm really seeing that this is going to push you over into the new reality and going to help you have that clearly defined path, something clear that you're working towards, some clear success on that path. And I feel like that alone is going to be extremely satisfying for you guys, because it can be disheartening, a little bit depressing to be in the state of the in-between. So that's what I'm seeing for you, my beautiful Leo risings. I am rebranding my website and my brand all on YouTube. So you definitely want to find me under now Cosmic Clarity Astrology. So I hope that you guys see me there. You guys can subscribe to my email list below if you want to get direct emails about these videos and anything else astrology wise. I offer a lot of support in my emails. So I hope to see you guys there, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. Bye.